Okay, hi, welcome back to another video. I have a new chair. I love it. It's so comfy. I feel like I can game for hours. But for today's video, we are not doing a game video. We're doing a reaction. And I was very lucky to be able to react to the new Mafia Old Country trailer earlier. It will go up at the same time as the normal trailer, but this is really exciting. I love the Mafia games. I've played all three of them. The playthroughs are all on the channel, and I also just finished watching The Sopranos, all 6 seasons, which obviously is to do with the Mafia. So I am so excited to see the new Mafia trailer come out. I'm so excited. Thank you for letting me watch this earlier. This is with no music, so when it is released, there will be a music version, but this one doesn't have any. I'm excited. Let's just watch.
Come in.
Bravery is not common in this world, and so loyalty, honor, obedience, they set the man apart from the rest. You took care of Messina, but this matter is not yet resolved.
Certo, signore.
Will you help me bring it to a close?
Of course. Tantorrisi.
Ora veremo un va.
Not the racist.
Calaio! Ovino! Tua guarda!
You again.
Whoa. 8th of August! That's the day before my mum's birthday. So again, remember that this trailer is the one with no music. There's no music in this trailer. I'd love to see the music that they add because, ooh, it would hit. This already hits. It starts off by saying it contains gameplay footage captured in-engine and cinematics rendered for trailers. So obviously we did see parts that were in-game, like the fighting sequence, but I'm not sure how much of it is like actually in-game out of it. This is probably just a cutscene, like rendered in-game. I'm guessing it's going to be real-time cutscenes. I don't think they would be doing pre-rendered cutscenes. This place that we start off in, I'm guessing is the main place that we kind of saw in the teaser trailer. This is Enzo. I believe we did read about him, like a bit of his... Was there a biography? I believe there was in the link under the teaser for the game. Because I remember reading that his name was Enzo. Yeah, it looks like the same kind of room. We have horse riding. From my knowledge, none of the other games had that. I believe that this is a new thing. It looks beautiful. They're definitely diving into like the full Italian aspects, I would say. Very Italian based. Not saying that the other ones aren't, but this one definitely feels the most buongiorno, you know? I would love to visit Italy. I would love to visit Rome, Vienna. I would love that so much. I love Italy. I think it's gorgeous. So I'm so excited to be playing this because this is set in Sicily. I believe the first 3 games were all set in America with Italian protagonists. Apart from, oh my god, what's his name? Lincoln. Apart from Lincoln, this one's the first one actually set in Sicily. This part definitely reminded me a lot of Indiana Jones. Kind of like sneaking. It also did give me a bit of a flashback to when we're playing as Tommy in the first one, and we have to sneak into the sewers in the prison. That one, definitely. With the sneaking, 100%. Also, this looks like here's the sewers. So, loyalty, honor, obedience, definitely like the code of the Mafia family. I mean, this just looks pretty. I love this, you know? I wonder who this guy is. They set a man apart from the rest. Is he telling that to Enzo? Oh no, sorry. It's still this guy telling him. Okay. Took care of Messina. Is this I wonder how fast story in this is then. We have sneaking and stealth. This is definitely, I think, works a lot from the engine that they used to create the definitive edition of the first Mafia. The sneaking, the stealth. This part specifically definitely gave me more Mafia 1 vibes, the definitive edition. I haven't played the original, I've only played the definitive edition. I think of all of them. But yeah, the combat, I mean, this is also a thing in Mafia 3, but I don't know, it just reminds me more of Mafia 1, to be honest. Him catching Lai with the little barrel next to him being shot. This definitely feels like it's like in an underground crypt, like a prison or something. Definitely. The racing the cars made me just flash back to the race in the first game. That took me so many tries, and it's just because I rush. Like, I get panicky and I rush. I wonder if this is optional, because I don't think I'd want to do it. I don't think it is. I think I have to do it. At least you get a pretty view. You know, you get the mountains, you get the scenery, the vegetation, the greenery. You get pretty whilst you're in pain, you know? Beauty is pain. Yeah, this. I love seeing the old cars too. It was such a staple in the previous 3 games. A whole part in Mafia 2 was collecting cars and selling them to get money. Although that was also a thing in Mafia 3, but it was... I love Mafia 3, don't get me wrong. It's not a bad game, but it did feel like a whole lot of the game was just side quests. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the missions just felt like side quests, which essentially they were. But yeah, anyways, the little spinning of the revolver was really cool. Oh, you see him like after. We have boss fights. Was this a thing in any of the other games? I know at the end of Mafia 1 there's a big boss fight. I'm not gonna say because spoilers. From my knowledge, there wasn't any one-on-one boss fights. I mean, we did have the fights when we were protecting Sarah after we took her home and there were the guys outside, but from what I can remember, there were really no like one-on-one boss fights, so this feels new. I wonder if this is the matter that is unsolved that Enzo was talking to Don Terrassi about, although this all does seem to be a part of like the same gameplay sequence, like same mission almost. I think this is just like a singular mission because it's the same similar area. Racing might not be a part of it, but the horse riding, unless you horse ride to a car, you know, it could be a thing. This looks like it'd probably be above this place, especially with the same type of rocks that we see, and it would be underground getting to the top. You again, I'm guessing they've met before this. Yeah, I really love the horse riding aspect, actually. I think that's really cool. We do have one more video. This is actually a dev movie, so this will be really interesting to watch. Let's give it a little look. This is also without music again. There will be music in the release versions. I just don't currently have them with the music. So make sure you go check out like the real trailer with the music. Real trailer, this is the real trailer, it just doesn't have the music. To get the full experience, watch the trailer with the music.
Hey everyone, I'm Nick Baines, president of Hangar 13.
Hello.
We hope you enjoyed this new look at gameplay in Mafia the Old Country. We're just 3 short months away now from getting this game in your hands, and we can't wait. Mafia the Old Country is an origin story for the Mafia universe, and as such, it's both a step forward and a return to the fundamentals of the franchise.
Origin. So yeah, this is definitely the start of it, which I think is really cool. Well, obviously Origin, it's a prequel. I don't know if we're gonna meet any of the like characters. I guess not, because it's like set way before. But if there are any Easter eggs or like name drops towards them, if that was some way be possible with the timeline, that'd be cool. I'd like to see that.
The heart of Mafia has always been deep, immersive storytelling, and Mafia: The Old Country is no exception. It's a premium experience in the vein of early Mafia games, with a linear narrative set against the stunning, authentic backdrop of 1900 Sicily.
That is just so pretty. Like I want to live there.
That focus has allowed us to deliver a classic organised crime drama in the period authentic Mafia rules and traditions of the era. And as you just saw, we've made some exciting gameplay updates. Whether you're using a knife or a gun, using stealth or in a shootout, this is brutal and grounded in all the best ways. It's all going to pull you in from every angle, pushing the franchise forward in a location and time painstakingly created with the utmost authenticity and detail using Unreal Engine 5.
So one thing I'm actually curious about, if this is a linear story in terms of gameplay, narrative, whatnot, this area in particular, can we explore it, or are we like tied to going down like a certain path? Like, are there multiple ways that we can take, not in terms of the story, but in terms of walking around in the set?
Stick around, because next up is our development team, who have loads of awesome behind-the-scenes insights on how we brought this title to life. And stay tuned between now and August, as we'll have even more to tell and show. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
More to show.
Come in.
Our top goal for every Mafia game is to deliver the promise to a player that you're going to play a classic mob movie. Mafia: The Old Country is a linear crime drama set against a beautiful Sicilian backdrop.
Sorry, I know I keep stopping it. Something that I actually think is really interesting though is the difference in Enzo's hair between when he joins the Mafia versus when he's been in it. If we go back a bit, obviously this is his sort of initiation. His hair is like a lot fuller, a lot messier, and then once he's joined in, his hair is more slicked back, more presentable. It's a neat touch, it's a small touch, but I think it's also a neat touch to how the Mafia themselves present as individuals, if that makes sense.
Play a classic mob movie. Mafia: The Old Country is a linear crime drama set against a beautiful Sicilian backdrop. The first step for us was to make sure that we were nailing all of the things that players expect from a Mafia game. The quality of its storytelling, how immersive it is, how authentic it is. Previous Mafia games have been set in big American cities. We've taken the action and we've put our story in rural Sicily, in the place where the Mafia began.
You really feel like you're transported into another time. It feels really unique and different, but yet really familiar. Players are really going to enjoy that aspect of it.
Our entry point for making these crime dramas is always the protagonist. We wanted to make sure that our main character, Enzo Favara, lives up to the standard which we've set in the past, and I hope in some ways even exceeds that.
All of the men in this room are bound by blood.
Enzo grows up in a sulfur mine. He's one of a bunch of children that are sold to the mine owners at this point in history in Sicily. Their life expectancy is short and they're essentially seen as disposable.
Enzo turns to crime as a means to make something of himself. The odds are stacked against him. So what does he do? He sees an opportunity for himself to gain some status, to gain some respect.
Something that I'm also going to plug in my headphones, hold on, because I don't want them to die during this. Something that I really love is how each one of the developers and everyone working on the game, how they speak about it. I think how someone talks about something that they made is very indicating towards how the product would be. If it's talked about with a lot of love, a lot of passion, a lot of description, I feel like you can tell that it's gonna be good, because that sort of excitement to share it wouldn't be there. So I love that. I love that so much. We saw a little bit of a glimpse to Enzo's life before joining the Mafia. So I'm guessing we're gonna start it when he's younger, I guess. or at least just before he's about to leave to join the Mafia.
Do you wish to commit to this family?
I do.
Swearing the oath is the chance for him to finally be accepted. He's found a family. It's the thing he's been searching for his entire life, but it comes at a cost.
I think players are in for an emotional roller coaster. The high stakes of the Mafia life present opportunities for us as storytellers to take players and
I just realized, does he kill the guy that guides him there? Hold
Crossed
on.
up.
This is the guy guiding him. He's got a key, he's got a lantern, okay? Okay, no. Completely different outfit. What happened to that guy then? Where did he go?
opportunities for us as storytellers to take players and put players through the ringer, really, in terms of what happens to the character, what happens to them in the game.
You again.
What makes a really compelling gameplay experience is the mix of the high-intensity combat, cover play, cover shooting, set by these beautiful cinematics that make what you do in the combat so much more meaningful because you're fighting for something you really believe in.
Authenticity and immersion are key. And so we wanted to take that philosophy from the storytelling and make sure that it was consistent in the gameplay.
You know, whether you come for that core cover combat shooting experience or that white knuckle driving experience, we have that in
Definitely not here for the drive-in.
Mafia the Old Country, but it's unique.
There's some downbeats, there's some deep storytelling moments, and then there's some like high intensity action. And I think that's what makes Mafia missions and the general experience so interesting, is that we're constantly trying to change that roller coaster experience that you're on.
Enzo's proving himself with guns, and we wanted the combat to feel like there was a scarcity of resources, so you have to be more tactical.
He's got a beard here. Enzo as a character, his hair's longer. It's a bit different. Well, I think it's actually just styled back, but he's grown a beard, so I wonder if there's I don't know if they'll talk about it, but I wonder if there's facial customization in terms of hair. He's obviously wearing a different outfit. I'm guessing outfit will be customizable. In terms of driving, I actually preferred Mafia 2 driving the best, followed by Mafia Definitive Edition, and then Mafia 3. I did not like Mafia 3. But Mafia 2 was fun. I like that.
In the way that you approach combat. The knife has been an integral part of gameplay. It's a part of Sicilian culture.
We wanted our gameplay to be immersive, to have a life or death kind of vibe. So when players are in a knife duel, when they're in a gunfight, they're genuinely fearing for their lives.
My flesh must burn like this saint if I do not keep my oath.
Bringing 1900 Sicily to life for us, it infuses every aspect of the development. It's about the characters, it's about the music, it's about the story, it's about the setting, it's about the vistas, it's about the vehicles, it's everything. It always starts with research, it always starts with immersing ourselves in the subject matter. So whether that's reading every crime book around the Sicilian Mafia, watching all of the movies, even driving the cars, firing the weapons, and then translating that into the game, that's the development experience.
We even sent some folks out to Sicily. We were then able to take all of those experiences and try to translate it into an on-screen experience, but also a story. And those two things are woven together in a way that I think players are going to really enjoy.
Bravery is not common in this world, and so
The Mafia that we see in Mafia the Old Country is much different than the Mafia that we see in some of the other Mafia games. It's a time-honored tradition steeped in secrecy, and there's this sort of deep honor that we see within the Teresi family and within the characters there.
Teresi. That's how you call him. Don Teresi.
Characters' relationships with each other, the way they behave, is very much influenced by that setting and that cultural difference.
This is a distinctive experience that I've never played before, and I'm sure that players are going to feel the same.
Presentation as innovation.
Mafia the Old Country is our first Unreal 5 game in the studio, and it's particularly suited to the Sicilian setting.
We've really been able to push the boat out in terms of sort of the real tiny details on everything.
You know, one of the big ones for me is metahuman. You have characters that have really lifelike expressions, micro details. You know, many times when I'm watching the game, especially on a big screen in 4K, I start to forget that they're characters rendered in an engine. They just look like real characters in a movie.
If this is the first one in Unreal Engine 5, then what was the definitive edition made in? I guess Unreal Engine 4. But damn, this is, I don't think my PC is strong enough for this game.
I think that's the level of immersion that we want, and it allows people, I think, to really suspend their disbelief and go along for the ride.
Enzo is beautifully rendered in the game, and I think he's one of the most compelling game characters we've seen for a long time.
The thing I'm most excited about for Mafia the Old Country is finally getting the game in players' hands.
The story pulls you through really quickly, and at the end, it takes your breath away, and it's the one that you're not going to want to spoil for your friends.
The visuals and the storytelling are absolutely next level.
Our setting's completely distinctive. Our story's completely unique. This is a game that you haven't played before. The best crime stories have unforgettable twists, and this game's no exception. Players are in for a treat.
Welcome, Enzo.
And that was the dev trailer. I am so excited. It really does look amazing. That's a woman. Love interest, maybe. It looks like it's on all consoles. So, well, apart from Switch, but Steam, PS5, Xbox. 8th of August. Wow. I'm just so excited. I love the Mafia games. They were genuinely, I think, one of my favorite series to play. I loved it. I loved the Definitive Edition gameplay the most. I loved the story of Mafia 2 the most. And so this feels like it's a mix of both, but made so that it was more actually set with like the nitty gritty Italian mafia ways. I mean, all three were pretty graphic, like they were still nitty gritty, but this is definitely referring more to the origin of it. And so I definitely feel like it's going to get even more gritty than the past three. I'm so excited. It looks amazing. I hope I can run this on my PC. I unfortunately don't think I will be able to. I don't think my graphics card is strong enough. It's giving out as it is. Yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you again for sending me this early so I can record it and get it released as soon as I'm allowed to. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it and I really can't wait to play it as well. But yes, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that there for today. Make sure you go check out the trailers and the dev video for yourself so you can hear it with the music. Again, these two videos didn't contain any music. And I will hopefully see you guys in another video or the playthrough when I start it. Okay, bye!